We are the Flag to Flag podcast, episode, I think, 35. I have to double check that, but this is
I think it's 36.
36. Well, either way, we're up there in the 30s now. This is John, the motorsport enthusiast. I'm welcomed by my lovely co-host, Chad Baca. Chad, how have you been?
Been good. I'm back in Nashville for the next 6 weeks. So
Nice.
Currently less than a mile away from John's house right now.
Yep.
And for some reason, we couldn't film in person. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm glad to be home for a little while. And did he just leave?
I'm messing with you.
That was quick.
I was gonna surprise you. I was gonna just run out the house and just show up at your house.
That'd have been funny if you just showed up like right back here.
full sprint down the road. I'm just coming over there. I'm just panting like a dog.
Hey, bud.
Chad, water now, please. But yeah, no. There you go. I got nothing other than my lovely coffee.
There you go.
Lovely coffee. But yes, episode 36. And we have not.
How have you been?
Oh, been good. I hiked a mountain. That was fun. Had a little bit of a cold last week. That was fun. This week has been very busy. That's why I didn't say we could shoot in person because one, I need to find my other mic. I can't find my other mic. But two, I've been working. I had to push today's back because I was working on something else. I got stuff tonight. It's just been a hectic week work wise. So
yeah.
It's one of those weeks, but it's good. I'd rather be busy than not. So
yeah,
fun stuff. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Going to talk about some IndyCar news. Going to talk about NASCAR Throwback weekend. That's why I got all my throwback gear on.
There you go.
Love this hat. I got this hat for $3, and I have two of them. Amazing.
Wow.
And just Gordon shirt here. So it's Throwback weekend, and also it is Japanese Grand Prix weekend in Formula One. Going to talk about when all those races are coming up. Going to talk about the paint schemes, going to talk about who we think will win both races this weekend. One that's starting at a lovely 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. Time for Formula One. But either way, Chad, let's talk through IndyCar. What's been happening? We had Thermal Club and a couple other things. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. I mean, this is the first time in God knows how long that we've had all number one seeds in the Final Four. It's going to be interesting to see how Auburn and Florida do against each other. And then when Duke and Houston, I think it's going to come down to Auburn and Duke, but I think Auburn's going to pull it out. All games are coming up on this Saturday, and then the championship games in San Antonio.
So the fun thing is Chad didn't know what college basketball was until before this podcast, and now he's just talking like he's an expert. He's the next Stephen A. Do you even know who Stephen A is?
I do.
Okay. So I guess are we talking about the challenge that we're doing? Is that why we're bringing this up? Or I mean, you're pretty proud about that.
I mean, the Final Four for the women's basketball tournament is pretty insane right now. We got UCLA and UConn. I think that's going to end up being the championship game. I think we have South Carolina and Texas. They're going to go up against each other. I think South Carolina's going to come out on that, but I think whoever wins UCLA versus UConn is actually going to end up winning it. And their championship game's on Saturday in Tampa. And then,
I mean, UConn's, Gino Auriemma, he's one of the best college basketball coaches of all time. If you want to start talking college basketball, I'll start talking college basketball. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time with UConn. I mean, he's went on historic runs. It's phenomenal to see what he's been able to do, and the fact that they're back in the Final Four. I just hope South Carolina loses because I like Texas over South Carolina. So,
I mean, obviously Ohio State's got a big run after winning the national championship this year, so it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see if Michigan's going to try and get a bit of a comeback this year. The game did not end well between them last time, but I think it's going to be interesting. Hopefully our Vols can do pretty well, but yeah.
Yeah, either way, let's why the basketball plug? Chad?
Larry Bird by far.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Larry Bird? You don't know that.
I wanted to play this on for so much longer. John, scroll down to the end of the document page.
What's on the end of the document page? What do you rules break on me? Just talking about. Okay, so we have a document every week, people, that we read off of because we have notes because we can't retain all the information just off the dome. We have this April Fool's prank on John. It says, NCAA men's basketball, NCAA women's basketball. He was then going to go into college football, NBA, MLB, and the NFL. He started talking about Larry Bird. As a Celtics fan, I'm like, what the hell do you know about Larry Bird?
I forgot.
I'll pull out my freaking Bird jersey. I'll pull out my Larry Bird jersey. Man.
Oh my God. I texted Jesse and Lindsay last night, and I'm just like, I want to pull a prank on John, but I don't know what to do. And then I thought of it. I'm like, I'm just going to go straight. I'm not even going to acknowledge it. I'm going to straight talk about any other sport that's not racing.
You didn't even acknowledge what I said. You were just like, all right.
Exactly.
Now.
That was honestly,
that was good.
This was the whole prank. All right. Yes.
That was good. Man.
I've actually been documenting on my own phone, so that's going to be our announcement post for the podcast, is me I researching all this stuff to find out how I'm gonna prank John.
Nice.
But yeah, that I just was like, I need to pull a prank on John. I need to. And I was like, I'm going to talk about every sport other than racing.
The look I have on my face when you started talking about college basketball, when I was like, yeah, Chad, going to IndyCar, come on. And you're like, oh, yeah, men's basketball. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? What are you doing? This is not the basketball chat. This is not.
I had to.
Podcast.
Dude, and I said this in the video I already made. I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I only pay attention to racing. I have no clue what I'm talking about. And then you started going along with it. I'm like, oh shit.
Like, okay, we're gonna start talking about NCAA. Fine. I haven't been paying much attention to the women's Final Four after Tennessee got out, or the women's championship, because out of Tennessee lost. But seriously, UConn, Gina Auriemma, one of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time. If we're being serious, that's I hope they can win. But now let's talk about racing.
Yes, let's talk about race cars now.
IndyCar, Chad. IndyCar, please. Your cue. Do I need to write IndyCar and have a cue card up here for you?
No. It's good. Yeah. Kansas City Chiefs. I think no, I'm kidding.
IndyCar. IndyCar.
But yeah, honestly, it was surprising to see. I think the biggest surprise for me the whole weekend was how much Penske struggled leading up to the race. They struggled a lot in practice. They struggled a bunch in qualifying. I mean,
specifically Thermal Club. If people don't know what we're talking about,
specifically Thermal Club. But on the on the final sheet, it says, hey, Will Power P6, not bad, but came in from 22nd.
I mean that shows great pace though. And the drivability of the car. If they fix qualifying, watch out.
Yeah. Which you also have to take into account. Like, we were here last year on an expedition race, on a race for TV. Big words, man, I swear. But
I gotta clip that. I'm clipping that one hard.
The whole start of this show is gonna be clipped.
There's a whole clip, just like me, just like why back. Okay.
But yeah, as a Penske fan, only because Newgarden drives for them, it was kind of hard to watch because I was cheering for him, and we didn't see anything we didn't see any Joseph Newgarden stuff the whole week. Big talk was Will Power charging up through the field, which was fantastic. So they had the pace. They probably just couldn't throw it together for a qualifying session. And then the other big thing is, before we even took the green flag, Delvin DeFrancesco and Scott McLaughlin,
Scotty Mac, oh boy,
get into each other, and then after the race, somehow Bob Pockris is always at the right place at the right time.
Oh, he was he knew, it's Bob. He has some special superpower or something. He has a spidey sense with these.
I was about to say his spidey senses were tingling.
He was right there. I mean, right there.
And they went at it, and I mean, it looked heated. I was with IndyCar. It's not IndyCar. You don't really see people. You see more emotion verbally than you do physically.
Right.
But who knows? We're heading into a new age with IndyCar. A lot of stuff could be changing, which would be interesting. But yeah, what was your thoughts? We still got a few more things to talk about. Pelot going 2 for 2 on the season so far.
Yeah,
It ended up. It was a very. I knew you were going to like the race because it was a very strategy heavy race.
and I like that. A lot of people don't like the race. A lot of people don't like the track. A lot of people don't think IndyCar should go there. We're gonna push that to the side for a second because I prefer technical tracks. And yes, it is a track that is not it's pretty flat, but it does have very technical portions of the circuit. There's S's. It has a lot of things that I look for, and the fact that there weren't any cautions played into races that I like to see. I like to see strategy. I like to see tire management and fall off. I like to see how drivers make their way through the field. Great example of that. You talked about some of the Penske guys. I think Newgarden finished 12th. We had a couple other guys making their way through the field. Alex Palou at the end. I liked the racing product because I like that kind of racing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people want to see the wheel-to-wheel action and people battling. I don't blame you. I love that kind of racing too. But I also love seeing these cars get strung out. It almost seemed more of like a Formula One style event. It really did, with just no cautions, pit stops. Obviously they can refuel, and there were more pit stops than a typical Formula One race with 3 stops, so 4 stints. But still, the biggest thing, obviously, for me was the TV broadcast going off. That kind of sucked.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that they completely lost power.
Yeah, and
which was
so
interesting.
exactly, and so as a fan of those kind of races, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing the delta between who was making up time, who was losing time, where off a 5-lap, a 10-lap run, who's been able to save more tires than others, who's better in certain sectors. And the track literally goes like this. Like, it's a very, it's kind of a wild track.
Oh yeah.
The shape of it. I liked it. I've heard complete opposite opinions of it. But again, I'm biased towards this kind of racing. Overall, it had a little bit down on ratings comparatively to last year, but also you're faced with a NASCAR race at the exact same time, and NCAA March Madness. You had the power going out, a lot of things there on that aspect of it. But I overall I liked it, from just a personal opinion.
Yeah, and I think there was a good mixture between the strategy, the deltas, all that, and then we also did have a good bit of wheel to wheel racing throughout the field.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty interesting, but yeah, I think it was a good race. I was kind of rooting for Award there a little bit because I'm starting to feel like now that I feel like McLaren is gonna have a good year, but I don't know if it's gonna be good enough to take on not Chip Ganassi, but Alex Palou. I think Alex Palou is starting to be the big guy. Like, hey, it's my time to shine.
And they can win on strategy.
Oh yeah,
plus a driver that can save his tires.
that's how he won. That's how he won in St. Pete.
How do you beat it? That's you could be the fastest car on track, but if you have a better strategy and come out in front like Palou did in St. Pete, what are you going to do? Because you can only qualify so well. Obviously, Award was not a factor in St. Pete, but he was absolutely in thermal, especially with Lundgaard there as well. I think McLaren's going to be fast. It's going to be tough to beat Palou. You're going to have to almost hope for Palou to have a mistake or have something not go completely as planned, or maybe he starts a little bit further onto the back. But it's going to be fun to watch the battle between Palou and Award and Lundgaard there for McLaren. I think it's going to be a great battle all season. So
I wouldn't be surprised if when we get to Nashville at the end of the year, the championship battle is going to be Palou and Award.
For sure. For sure.
And the fact that we get to witness some of that in a little less than 2 months.
Yeah, dude. We're getting up there. It's
Yeah,
getting close.
still got a few more things we got to iron out, but yeah, I think it's going to be good. But
8 weekends. 8 weekends from now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 8 weekends from now we will be.
we're going to be baking in the Indiana sun.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Couple other things just covering IndyCar before we dive into Formula One. Rookie Robert Schwartzman for Prema and Louis Foster for RLLR did a rookie training session at Nashville Superspeedway. Also, I saw that Haley Deegan was out there with Indy Next. A couple other teams did some testing there. I like that because that, you know, in the long run, that's what they're going to need. They're going to need some testing at these kind of tracks.
I think it's going to be interesting to see on the Indy Next side. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Haley Deegan does. I mean, I think she's already got a lot of pressure on her
for sure
for the oval races, but I mean, I hate to say this, so did Jimmy Johnson, and kind of saw how that turned out. But
right.
But yeah.
So on the same day as the Nashville Superspeedway test, drivers from AJ Foyt, Chip Ganassi, Dale Coyne, Nikos Hollinger tested at the Indy Road Course, and all test sessions took place 2 months before the Indy 500, and then just about a month and a half before they go to the Indy Road Course there 2 weeks before the 500. So exciting to see these cars testing. We haven't had any IndyCar until, I guess a couple weeks ago, but now we have IndyCar coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend in Long Beach. Really quick, Kyle Larson officially announced that he'll make the second attempt at the double or the Hendrick 1100 with HendrickCars.com and Amazon Prime as the sponsor. I think it's cool to see that. Obviously, we know Amazon Prime is going to be covering this year's Coke 600 at Charlotte. I'm ecstatic. I just hope the weather holds out, and
I do too.
If it doesn't, we're gonna be in the same discussion as last year about the whole waiver thing, and it's gonna be that point too. Well, I guess no, they put out that statement to where you forfeit all stage point or all playoff points, right? If you get a waiver,
I either stage or playoff points, yeah. But then that also raises the question: okay, what if we are put in the exact same situation that we were put in last year? Does Kyle Larson change his decision? I mean, he's already he stayed last year because he wanted to run the Indy 500. All right, he's checked that box, and who knows? I would love to see it happen.
Yeah. I'm just
think it's going to be great?
I can't remember. I guess I'd have to look back. Did he already win a race in 2024 before the 500 and the 600 to lock himself into the playoffs?
I couldn't tell you. Maybe. I know he won at Indianapolis when they went back, but that was after the 500.
Yeah, which was cool. Let me look up that really quick to see.
Yeah.
Because that's a little bit different because he already won a race. So...
yeah.
Yes, he did. He won at Vegas. He won at Vegas and he won at Kansas as well. So he was already locked into the playoffs there. So we'll see what happens with Kyle Larson there at the Hendrick 1100 or the double. But Chad, let's dive into some Japanese Grand Prix action at Suzuka this weekend. Go through some of these lovely, lovely times that we have to look forward to for this weekend's race. That's clear across the world.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is kind of Formula One's version of the West Coast Swing.
Yeah,
where I mean, at least they're getting all of these races done first
on the front end. Australia, China, Japan. 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and now. Well, I'll let you tell the last one. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we have the... What the heck? Okay, that's weird. Something happened to my computer. We're good. So we have... I'm still on the prank page.
Just start talking about baseball. Like, Chad, what?
Yeah. Dodgers are going to have another hell of a year. Anyway, Japanese Grand Prix. So the times for this: April 3rd, practice 1. This is all Eastern time, 10:30 to 11:30 p.m. on April 3rd. April 4th, practice number 2 at 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. Practice 4 will be at 10:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Qualifying will be from 2 to 3 a.m. And then lights out for the Japanese Grand Prix at 1 a.m. Eastern Time,
Yeah.
12 o'clock Central Time for me and John. I'm going to stay up and watch it. Are you?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch for sure.
All right.
Yeah, I'll watch. It's late. It's right there. Like after that, I'm like, I can watch in the morning.
Okay. I think I'm going to be, I am going to be I'm not going to be in Tennessee. I will be somewhere else, which will be revealed at our flag to flag at the track for this week.
Where the heck are you going? Have you told me this?
Maybe, but I've also told you like 20 other places I'm going as well. So
the amount of information that you tell me, Chad, I physically cannot handle it. It just all spills out, like
yeah.
If you ever like put something into like a microwave and it like boils over, that's constantly the information I'm getting being fed by you. I just can't keep up. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if you told me that you'd be going, well, I guess. No, I don't remember.
When we get to it, you can take a guess. You can take a guess when we get to it. But
I expect. Okay, yeah.
But sure. Here's some of the headlines that we've got coming out of China and going into Japan. Hamilton gets his first pole and win with quotes with Ferrari in the sprint. So, John, as a Ferrari fan, do you count that or no?
I mean, yes, you have to count that because it's another race, but it just gets completely spoiled by the double disqualification, which just sucks. Just flat out sucks. Because what that does is move Ferrari down to tied for fourth in the constructors with Williams, who then ended up with a double point day. So it's just
not just Williams having a double points, Haas having double points as well.
Yeah.
Have you seen the livery for Haas?
Look, I think it looks good. No,
I like it.
Yeah. So, as a Ferrari fan, it's a long season. There's 22 weekends left. We got strategy out of the way in Australia. We got illegal cars out of the way in China. Now in Japan,
What's going to come next? What's coming up next?
The only other thing I can think of is they have like an eject button in those cars, and they made contact in China as well. So we got contact. We were getting all the bad stuff out of the way early, like literally strategy, contact between teammates. Then the double disqualification. So we have illegal cars. I mean, like there's been everything going on. Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. Yeah. But does that mean I'm picking them to win? I don't know. We'll have to see.
We'll have to wait and see on that. But McLaren is still undefeated in 2025. China, the race was honestly kind of boring. It was a strategy race, but it wasn't the exciting kind of strategy that we had at Thermal with IndyCar.
Yeah. So and that's the other thing. Yeah. I mean, we see these races, and a lot of times, I've come to learn to love those kind of races.
Yeah,
because it's not always going to be wheel to wheel, just like the NBA or the NFL. It's not always going to be. Don't even start. It's not.
I love how you're just like, you know what? We're going to embrace it at this point.
Well, it's a good analogy. It's not like it's going to be back and forth buckets every single game, and it's going to be a 1 to 2 point game, or they're going to hit lights out from 3, or It's not always going to be like that. And I used to hate road courses. I used to not watch them as a kid and growing up because I just didn't like the kind of racing. And then I was like, oh wait, racing is more than just turning left. You can actually turn right too.
Yeah. There's more to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and diving deeper into every other motorsport that's out there, because oval's just I would say oval's one of the smaller racing types, because everything else is like road course and purpose-built courses.
It depends on where you are.
Sure.
In North America, you have a lot of there's multiple different big types of racing. Okay, there's a decent road course presence in North America, as there is a very decent asphalt and dirt oval presence as well. Where if you go to somewhere like Australia, they have a big, obviously, road course presence, but then they also have a big dirt oval presence as well.
Yeah.
And then mainly in Europe, the main thing is road course racing, but if you know where to look and you dig in there a little bit, you can find they're not as big as they are in North America, but there is presence for other forms of racing there as well. They're just not as advertised as they are, as the road courses are, you know?
Correct.
And so that's the thing about excuse me, sorry. That's the thing about North America is all forms of racing are heavily advertised. So wherever you want to go, you can really get into. But
exactly.
But I think before we get on to our picks, should we address the elephant in the Formula One room?
You mean the bull? The bull in the room? Yeah. Yuki Tsunoda back to Red Bull, Liam going back to Racing Bulls. It's a move that should have never happened, not because of Liam's sake, but because of how this whole situation could have been avoided. If they wanted somebody more experienced in the car, I understand giving Liam a shot, but I mean, you gotta stick with your choices. Either stick with Liam the whole season or put Yuki in there in the first place. Don't put Liam in that situation. Don't put Yuki in this situation. And I think I don't know if people are talking about this. I think there's unfair pressure against Yuki in his home country to perform well in a car he hasn't been in a while.
Not just his home country, the home country for their engine manufacturer as well, Honda.
Right. And so, while I think Yuki is a better driver and a more experienced driver, naturally, I mean, at VCARB, they were almost even. You could even tip the hat to Lawson. I understand the hype. I get it. But let's be realistic about what's about to happen. You can't just be like, oh, yeah, he's getting a podium. He's going to win. No. Yeah. I mean, I've been talking
with friends. We haven't even seen that out of Max this year.
Exactly. I've been talking with some friends about this, and they're like, yeah, P10 for Yuki, maybe. If that everything goes right. So I think I understand the hype. I get it. It makes a lot of sense. But I also think it creates a lot of unnecessary pressure on him to perform right out the gate. They did already say that they're going to leave him in for the rest of the season. So there's that.
Okay, but that doesn't, let's be honest, that doesn't mean anything.
Well, all right. Can't. Yeah, Helmet Marco said Liam Lawson 3 to 5. He was out in 2. Now he comes out and says, "Oh yeah, we're going to have Yuki in for the rest of the season." We don't know. We really don't know what that means because Red Bull doesn't know how to make a decision, really.
Well, it's not that they don't know how to make a decision. Is it contracts or even if this stuff? Who knows?
Specifically with contracts,
contracts. Exactly. They might not mean anything, but they might be at the point now where this type of stuff. Hey, if you're not performing by this point, you could be kicked. That might be in the contract now, so these guys might know, but what they're getting into. But I do agree with you. I feel like this situation should have gone one of two ways: either stick with what you said, give them at least one more race in China. Or in Japan, all right, do the 3 to 5 and see what goes, or put Yuki in the car in the first place.
Right, and not at the expense of Liam Lawson's skill, though. I think a lot of people are taking it out of context. Oh, yeah, Liam never deserved that seat. Oh, yeah, Liam shouldn't be in that car. We don't know. He hasn't been in Formula One that long, people. He's been in Formula One this long comparatively to Yuki. So it's just, there's a lot of, I think, unfair scrutiny against Liam in this situation.
It's a completely different race car compared to Formula 2,
Exactly.
I've played it on the Formula 1 games and everything is so the Formula 2 cars, honestly, it's besides the aerodynamics, it's more like a stock car, if I'm being 100% honest with you. But
by the way, Formula 1 2025 dropping next month. I am going to pre-order the Lewis Hamilton edition.
Oh, yes. I'm not pre-ordering anything until it comes out. I'm gonna play it and have fun. I'm finally getting my sim stuff back up and running. Currently,
ding! Somebody got a text.
I did. I am on my computer right now. Oh, that's from the other day. Okay, but yeah. So yeah, because I'm back in Nashville, I'm using my MacBook and.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm not hauling that thing all the way down
here. Oh, no. But, I've done that before. Don't ever do it. I used to do that between here and Knox sometimes, and it was just rough.
But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, I had a conversation with my buddy who I've got these two friends One we used to go-karting with, Colin Figencher. I don't know if you know him, but shout out if you're listening. And then someone who races for the Race Driven Performance team, Bradley Swith. I would say shout out if you're listening, but I know you're not.
We'll be clipping that for sure. And
oh yeah, without a doubt. We're getting a lot of good clips out of this episode. But but yeah, I feel like they both kind of feel like a part of it may be Liam not being ready, but another part of it might be the car. I mean, the car is built around Max, and even Max has been complaining about the car.
Yeah. You know, something's going on when the car is not great. And let's say what's been the biggest change in Red Bull this upcoming season? Who's left? Adrian Newey. Now, that doesn't mean that the car isn't still good, that his philosophies still aren't there.
Yeah.
But he's a big factor in that car, and he's now with Aston Martin, of course. So that may have something to do with it, but I agree.
And another surprise we've seen is Aston Martin ain't kicking the doors down as much as we thought they would be doing.
Yeah, I mean, well, Lance finished 6th in the wet in Australia, so that's their highest finish yet. But we got Japan, which I don't know if you've seen the radar, Chad, looking kind of wet. Might be a wet weekend again, and so I don't know if that changes.
Honestly, I'd be okay with that. After what we saw in Australia, I'd be okay with that.
I don't know if that changes your picks at all, but I think we should dive into our picks. And since you are first on this list here, you have to give your top 3. Your pick.
All right, I will, because I'm not gonna. All right, so.
All right, who's it gonna be?
Let me think here. You know, I think it's gonna be a story we've already seen, just told a little differently.
Okay.
Let's go Lando P1.
Lando locked in P1.
Oscar P2.
Locked in P2.
Max P3.
Max P3.
All right, that's what I think, and I think that story is going to be pretty common all year unless Red Bull can figure something out with that car.
Right. Yeah.
And who knows, we might have another 2016 Silver War again, but this time the Papaya War. That does not sound as good. But
War, yeah, it's not as cool. Kind of like
yeah, but who knows? We might have another Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg type situation this year with Lando and Oscar. But it'll be interesting. But John, let's see your top 3. Let's see what outlandish things you are fixing to say.
In P1, Max Verstappen. I think he was better than Lando in the wet. I'm hoping it's going to be a wet race. I think Max has the opportunity.
You're banking on a wet race.
I'm kind of. It looks pretty ominous.
Okay.
So I think it'll be Max out front. I think Lando in P2. Lando in P2. In third, this one.
I see that. I see that smile on your face already. I'm like, oh God.
Who do you think I'm thinking of?
Maybe. Well, we just had a whole conversation on how Yuki don't like not to get our hopes up with Yuki. So I don't think you're gonna go Yuki.
No. Sorry, fans of Yuki Tsunoda and Yuki Glazers.
I'm gonna give a team, not a driver.
Okay, give a team. Okay.
All right, it's gonna be a Mercedes driver.
That is correct.
Okay.
Kimi Antonelli, his first podium in Formula One. We saw what he did in the wet in Australia. If he gets a decent qualifying run in and can qualify up there, I think he's fast. He has been proven to be able to perform well. Obviously, on pure speed, it's going to be might be a little tough because I think George would outpace him. But
I just want to know what Lewis Hamilton's thoughts were after the first 2 races. Like,
well, he was probably pretty excited after the win in the sprint and finishing, top 5. But then obviously, Formula One had to just ruin all Ferrari fans' hopes and dreams. But it's fine.
They didn't ruin anything, all right? Look, okay, fine. We'll talk about the disqualification, all right? I'll put my race car hat on. But the skid plate, I feel like that was them just not paying attention to the skid plate and it just getting too low.
Yeah.
All right, but with the whole weight thing.
Yeah. Well, and it was also proven that Leclerc drove over dirt to try to pick up more weight on the car, and it didn't work.
Exactly. Like,
So, and he was
How many pounds light were they?
Like half a kilogram. So like it was 799.5 when the minimum was 800.
Okay.
So it is like
that, honestly, with that. So I don't know what that translates to American, but because that's how I do my stuff off of.
I don't know what that translates to American. That's the most American statement you could make.
Oh yeah, but
I don't know how that translates to American.
Let's say, for example, our friend Jesse Binkley. All right, he had a race in Hickory last weekend, and was no, not last weekend, the weekend before. He had a race in Hickory, and he crossed the line 6th, but at the end of it, he ended up 5th because the leader got disqualified for being 60 pounds too light.
What's the weight of a normal car?
I think it was 12. I think it was either 1250 or 1300.
Okay, so you're talking about almost 5%.
Exactly.
5%,
but here's the thing.
Overweight. Yeah.
Anything, look, if it's less than 10, okay, if you're less than 10 pounds overweight, that's a miscalculation on fuel. That's a mistake. If you're more than 10 pounds over, you're trying to do something there.
Yeah. Yeah, they were
if this
0.5 kilograms to the bad, and I think I forget
that honestly could just be a bad calculation with fuel.
Which it could be, because those cars, they do fill it. It is tight. Because they want to get the maximum. They want to basically essentially run out of gas as they cross the line, because they don't want as much fuel in there. Yeah. So I don't know. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it was the tires." I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It sucks. It really sucks.
Which you're not going to know, because all they're going to do is they're going to roll it across the scales 3 times, and if it doesn't read correctly, they're going to throw them out. And they're like, it don't matter what it was illegal.
Yeah.
All right, go back and fix it.
Yeah. So
be interesting, but
Tech, they do allow for refueling for weight, so I totally forgot about that. Actually, I'm going to fact check that. Do F1. Because I'm getting this in another series mixed up. Yeah, the minimum weight of the car without fuel is 798 kilograms, including a minimum weight of the driver of 80. Yeah, so there's fuel numbers. Either way, it was short by very little, a kilogram to a half of a kilogram. So, but either way, Chad, let's get back to our segment, the next segment, your favorite segment. I know, the local racing report, and I would love for you to pronounce this.
So we are going to Premier Speedway
in
Warrnambool, Victoria, Australia.
Oh, well, we're going across the pond. We're going
across a few ponds.
That's not where you're going this weekend, are you? You're not going.
No.
Okay, I was like, what? You're going to Australia?
No, that is not where I'm going. But
anyways,
we are going to Premier Speedway. They had it is a dirt track. They had their 360 LS sprint cars, their super rods, and their production sedan divisions out there. Here's how they stacked up. And my, oh my, did they have quite the field of 360 sprint cars. So in third place in the number V88, starting 11th, was Tate Frost. Started 4th, came home 2nd. The number A1 machine is Lachlan McHugh. And the number V35 started 3rd, made his way up to 1st in. Like I said, the V35 was Jamie Veal. Moving on to our super rods. In 3rd place, started 4th, in the number AV83 was Jacob Pitcher. In 5th, started 5th, came home 2nd. The number S59 was Michael Code. And started 2nd, came home with the Super Rod A feature win. And the number W8, Jamie May. Finally, we have our production sedans. And wow, okay, this is interesting, actually. You'll hear. So started 5th, came home 3rd. And the number HA34 was Shane Hammond. Started 7th, came home 2nd. The number HA33 Brad Colquhoun. Definitely didn't say that right. Started third, came home with the win in the number HA25, Nathan Hutchinson. If you would like your local short track shouted out on the Flag to Flag podcast, email flagtoflag10@gmail.com or hit us up on any of our social media channels. Listen out for those at the end of the episode. Make sure you go to your local short track this weekend and bring a friend. This week's Flag to Flag at the track will be, John, do you have a guess?
Fairgrounds.
No, it is opening day for National Fairgrounds Speedway.
Oh yeah, you said you're not going to be. You said you're not going to be there.
You want to take another guess?
Are you going south?
I am.
You going to Birmingham?
I am not.
Going to Florida?
No.
Mississippi?
No.
Alabama?
No.
Georgia?
Yes.
I don't know.
All right. I will be going to the second round of the Dixie Shootout Regional .25 Midget Series at North Georgia Quarter Midget Association in Cummings, Georgia. Going to be a great day. I think we have just over 180 cars registered for this event.
Dang.
I will be announcing the event.
Oh,
so yeah, come out, say hi, and yeah. So I think it is time for us to get on with NASCAR, and we actually have we have some stuff to talk about.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Something that I think you and me, not a lot, but you and me disagree a little bit on, judging by our previous conversations. So I think this will be fantastic discussion for the podcast.
Okay.
But
what do we disagree on, Chad?
If we don't kill each other. The type of racing in the Xfinity series.
Oh, the move?
Not just the move, just the racing in general.
Okay, so I'll confess something. I have not seen the majority of the Xfinity series race.
Okay.
So
okay, then it might just be what happened at the very end.
I have not watched it. I've just heard it was, as Mike Joy would say on live television, a dumpster fire. But actually, no, it's not a dumpster fire because a dumpster fire is contained. Oh my gosh. You know who's not contained? What?
I remember sitting next to you as they said, I went to John's this weekend to watch the race and sitting next to John, and they just say, and I think it was Mike Joy who's like, yeah. I called the Xfinity race a dumpster fire earlier, but I think I was mistaken because at least a dumpster fire is contained.
Our jaws hit the floor. I was like yeah, so.
But yeah, frankly, I don't know why they were driving like, I don't want to say they were driving like idiots because obviously they're in the Xfinity series. They have, well, some of them have some knowledge or sense to them, but why were we racing that hard with 80, 70, 60 laps to go?
That's what I've heard. So I heard just basically they were just beating each other to shit. Like they were just beating, and what I've seen with talking with other people, I don't know if you watched my race on Thursday night at Martinsville. We had 30 cautions and 200 laps. Nobody could get more than 5 or 10 laps in.
Yeah. I
compared it to that, and they were like, oh, yeah, it's exactly what that was. And so my thoughts, like, what the heck happened? Like, what? Like, somebody said it's a very strong statement, but somebody was like, it's a bunch of rich, spoiled snobs who get paid to do this. And essentially they don't have, like, there's no...
I hate to say it, but
they have no consequences.
There is an ounce of truth to that. Not everyone out there is some spoiled rich kid. All right, let's get that thing straight. There are a few drivers out there who have worked their way up,
of course,
to that point with minimal funding, but you do have that fair share. Like, I mean, there's guys in the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series right now that I raced against in quarter midgets. And you just knew that they were going to go far, I mean, there's one person in the Xfinity Series right now. I won't name names, but because of his connections, there was never a doubt in my mind that he's going to be in Cup one day because of his connections. And
I mean, sometimes I mean it does come down to business, and at some point, it's true. The statement is true. It's about who you know.
And I just texted this driver to you, John. I just texted this driver's name to you.
It's not who I think it is it? Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but yeah, and then you look at, I mean, there's another driver in the Cup Series, or not in the Cup Series, in the Xfinity Series, that I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it into, just because his parents own are high ups at a certain company. So, there's a lot of that, the nepotism. And here's the thing, it's not just in NASCAR. Some would even argue it's not just in racing.
No, it's
I mean,
everywhere. It's
yeah,
everywhere.
even in I would even go as far to say it's not even just in sports. If we're being completely honest here,
No,
it's in everything.
It is in everything. I mean, there's it's not too far fetched to say that, but again, it's just like that's in everything. So is merit. So is pure luck. So is your name. I mean, it's like that everywhere.
I mean,
I'm curious though. What do we disagree on though?
Well, so what we disagreed on was what happened at the end of the race.
Oh, Sammy Smith with him.
Yes.
Intentionally wrecking the 54.
I don't think it was intentional.
How do you? He wasn't going to make the corner.
I think he meant to bump him and move him out of the way. However, I do not think his intentions were to wreck him.
Okay, so then at what point it coming from a little over one car length back be okay? Because I made the comparison in one of my videos to Denny Hamlin getting into Chase Elliott and then Joey Logano getting into Matt Kenseth, and they were very close together, which I think in looking at those two incidents versus looking at this and also looking at Austin Dillon. I was
about to say, let's look at Austin Dillon as well. Difference in that is Austin Dillon wasn't going to make that corner, if he would have ran his regular line, he wasn't going to get to him. Like,
well, neither was Sammy Smith, I'd argue.
He didn't come. Yes, Sammy Smith maybe, but he came from one and a half car length spot, not 4.
Sure, very but fair, but I think that also kind of playing the middle ground here. What is the line then? What's is it one car length?
We've already had this discussion with right rear hooking, like we saw in COTA this year with Austin Cindric.
Yeah.
Where is the line? Not just in this rough, aggressive. I mean, I grew up going to short tracks. I love this type. I look forward to Martinsville every year because I like that kind of racing. I like the bump and runs. I like, putting your elbows out, rubbing his racing. I love that kind of stuff, but then, you look at something like, you look at something like the right rear hooking thing, and all right, like, where's the line in that as well? So the big question is not just where is the line where's the line in any of all of this?
Right.
Because, okay, right rearing someone at Charlotte, a high-speed track, like Chase Elliott did to Denny Hamlin, all right, 1 week suspension, okay? Right rearing or Bubba Wallace, right rearing Kyle Larson at Las Vegas a few years back, 1 year suspension. Or no, 1 race suspension, not 1 year, 1 race suspension.
Yeah.
Okay, but we just fine Austin Cindric for doing that at COTA because it wasn't a high-speed area. Okay, so what if we do it at Martinsville where it's not a high-speed track?
Yeah.
Where is the line in that? And going back to what we've been saying, it is kind of hard to see the line. I think he may have went in. I think he didn't. I don't think his intention was to wreck him. However, I will give this to support your claim, John. There was a confrontation between Sammy Smith and Taylor Gray, and reportedly Sammy Smith, not only did he not apologize,
he admitted to it.
I don't know if he admitted to it. He tried to defend his actions.
Yeah.
Now, a bump and run to get someone out of the way on the last lap, okay, that's pretty normal. We see that all the time, all right? Was that his intention? Did he just go in there too hot? Did he mean to wreck him? Did he go in there too hot and then just do it like that? I mean, I don't know, but
I think his words at the end did more than the action in and of
Yeah.
itself,
Yeah.
because you could, if he wanted to, he could lie through his teeth and be like, I did not mean to do that.
Yeah.
My brakes, just make up. Well, you could see
Make
the
up.
brakes locked up. Yeah, make up something to make it seem like you didn't do it. But he didn't do that, though. He was like, yeah, I'm going to defend, like you said, I'm going to defend my actions, and didn't
Yeah.
apologize. I feel like I don't know if it would have changed the penalty at all, but I definitely don't think it helped him.
Yeah,
I don't think it helped him.
didn't help his case.
Not at all, because I was looking through the statement, and basically they said they looked at everything, SMT data, radios, I mean, everything leading up to it. And yeah, I mean, they were beating each other to hell, for sure. But also...
So is half the field.
Right. And also, in my opinion, I don't think him doing what he did to Taylor Gray was warranted by what happened previously. Because Taylor roughed him up, Taylor bumped him out of the way, but Taylor didn't dump him.
Yeah,
it was from what I've seen. So yeah, it's Taylor didn't dump the 8 at any point, did he?
No, I mean, they raced each other hard, and it was Taylor Gray's race to win. He was up front all freaking day. It was his race to win.
Yeah.
And yeah, but, it is interesting. Have they come out with any penalties or anything on that?
Oh, yeah. So it's a 50. It's either 25 or 50 drivers points for
Sammy I think it's Smith. 50 driver. I think it was 50 drivers points and $25,000.
$25,000. Yeah, I couldn't remember, but yeah, so they did.
So yeah, and a lot, and that's really been the big topic of the weekend. Because a lot of these guys like Dale, I think it was either Dale Jr. Someone made the statements where it's just like, we want to teach these drivers respect. Take away the security guards. I mean, yes, there are some people who they get hit in the face, they stop doing something, but at the same time,
I think it's almost like a hockey situation. Have them there. Let them have at it a little bit.
Yeah, and then at some point, let them get in.
Pull it away. Because I think people want to see that too.
Yeah. Yes. So whenever I've heard, these are the two main things I've heard from racetrack promoters, from me going to tracks, is they say one of these two things. If you're going to fight, either do it at the gas station down the road or do it on the front stretch so everyone will see it.
Oh, exactly, and that's exactly what I was going to say. I think that there is a spot. I think there is a. Sounds odd to say.
Yeah.
Out of all the motorsports, I think NASCAR would be the one place to do that, because we've seen that in history. The famous fight, is it Cale Yarborough and it's not Buddy Baker, is it?
I'm not sure who it was, but the one at Daytona, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen that. We've seen the scuffles. We've seen the thrown helmets with Tony Stewart. I mean, in history, NASCAR has seen this happen. I think there is a slight place for it because NASCAR is the raw, rugged motorsport. You can bump somebody out of the way and not get too penalized. Do I think we need to hold people back? If it's just two drivers by themselves, like it was with Sammy Smith and Taylor Gray, and there's obviously there's no kids, right? Make it to where it's not gonna hurt somebody. Okay, let them square off a little bit.
Let's be honest here. Going back to the hockey analogy, all right, two guys drop the gloves and they go at it. Everyone else just kind of stands there and watch. That's not going to happen in NASCAR. All right, when you're on a team, you're taught to defend your driver. You're taught to defend your teammates at all costs.
Good example: Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kyle Busch.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I don't know. They go race that hard. I'm all for hard racing, and I'm all for the emotion. NASCAR, really not even NASCAR. I think, honestly, I can't believe I'm about to say this. IndyCar has the best personalities in racing right now. Formula One, they barely have any personality.
I think I'll challenge that because of the
Okay.
show. I'll challenge that because of the show and because of their Formula One. Out when you're talking about the whole collective picture, the
How much of this shit on DTS is manufactured, though?
fair, but I'm talking about like on social. On social, Formula One I think has it won from showing the personalities. Um, I wouldn't say IndyCar personally has that yet because it's so new because of 3 commercials. Because outside of that, I don't really know much about. We haven't seen. Let me rephrase. We haven't seen much from the other drivers.
Yeah.
But no, I'm right there with you. I think NASCAR's at the bottom of that list.
Right now, yeah, and which it used to be not just on top of it used to be miles ahead.
Yep.
And there's 101 different factors that play into that. We can't just pinpoint it on one simple thing. But I think a good part of letting the drivers kind of have at it. I mean, I'm honestly kind of on the fence because I remember sitting at National Fairgrounds Speedway with my dad, and we were watching one of the races on the big track in the grandstands, and the 2 leaders wrecked. It was first and second place wrecked. First place guy got out of his car, ran over to the second place car, and just started throwing haymakers in the window. My dad leaned over to me, whispered in my ear, and he said, if we're going to, this is when we were talking about me getting into racing, and he said, if we're going to do this racing thing, you ain't ever going to do that.
Yeah. And
right? You don't get out of the car. You don't get out of the car unless it's on fire or the track marshal says you can.
Yeah.
So that was always my mentality, but also growing up, I loved watching the fights. It was part of the excitement. It was part of what it was an advertising thing for them.
Yeah.
And in a way it still kind of is. So it's interesting, but I don't know. I think it's going to be, I don't know. I mean, and a lot of it, they blow off all their steam over the radio. Like Ty Gibbs in the Cup race was like, you better keep that little expletive being expletive being Tyler Reddick away from me. And then after the race, they show them they have a conversation.
Yeah.
They probably didn't agree, but they just had a conversation.
Right. And that's where, that is a total mix of personality as well. Yeah. And I'm on the side. Like, I'm not going to, if it were me, I'm not going to go out there and fight somebody. I'm not going to do that. But on the flip side, we've seen situations where could that be, and it goes back to capturing eyeballs and getting people to watch. I mean, not saying you throw, and it's not like this is something new either. Like, NASCAR's been known for this outside of other motorsports. Juan Pablo Montoya getting in the face of Kevin Harvick. I mean, Bubba Wallace shoving Kyle Larson against the car. I mean,
in the infield, like in front of God and everyone.
Which just made his situation look 10 times worse because he just freaking dumped the 5. I still can't believe that. I still can't believe we saw multiple right hooks in like bad right hooks, like with Elliott and also
when the next gen car first came out, especially when the next gen car first came out, they were having those issues. But I don't know. I think a part of it was the when the next gen car came out, it really not completely leveled it, but even the playing ground a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Where more people, I mean, hell, we saw 16, 17 different race winners.
Yeah.
The first year of the next gen car. So yeah, I think a lot of people know that they have more of a shot. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this year someone tries to go at it with Carson Hocevar.
Oh, no, it's going to happen. Carson's going to piss somebody off. And it might come this weekend at Darlington. And, it's a track that is tough. It's too tough to tame. I'm so excited to race at Darlington on Thursday night. I've been practicing. Actually ran 2 races on iRacing. I figured out a line that saves tires, but also is fast in 1 and 2. Oh, I'm so excited.
Thursday night?
Yeah, for my league.
I'm gonna come over to your house and just hang out and watch.
You will distract the shit out of me.
That is the only reason I'm coming over.
I politely will decline.
But
don't come knocking at my window because that will not end well. That would scare the shit out of me. No.
I thought about doing that last week. I'm not even gonna.
No.
But
no.
But yeah, I think it. Yeah, I mean, Martinsville, I think all in all was a good race. I think it was a mixture of what you and me both like, that wheel to wheel rough racing, but at the end of strategy won.
Yeah.
All right, and that's what we saw with Denny Hamlin. I think his 11th clock.
No, his 7th.
Oh, I think I said it was his first Martinsville win in 10 years. My bad.
Correct. Which
that
I
was
believe
okay, that's why I got mixed up.
5th.
And then he also debuted his new slogan.
Is against the world.
11 against the world, which
yeah,
I kind of like.
Do you know it's the same thing that Ohio State does?
Yeah, he's got some Ohio State buddies, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, it's like I like it. I'm not gonna lie, I like
think it's
it.
Cool. Like it, it in the new sponsor, second race back or third race with the sponsor, looking really good, and he was running up front with at Homestead. So
I mean, I think this sponsor with FedEx leaving, people were skeptical on how the 11 car was going to do. I mean, we saw what happened when Mars Candy left. I mean, we didn't even get to see how Kyle Busch was going to do because they kicked him.
Yeah,
because GGR kicked him, and I think Denny Hamlin is still as strong as ever. I'm not.
Oh, for sure. And I think what this also does opens up the door for more sponsors to come in with the immediate success of Denny Hamlin, because results talk. I mean, he's been at the front of every single race since that Progressive had been on the car, and he got a win with it in 2 or 3 races. So I love the move. It's a great move for sponsorship. Yeah. So excited to see. But let's dive into this upcoming weekend's races.
Yeah.
So Saturday, April 5th, 2025, we have practice for the Xfinity Series starting at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time with qualifying at 11:10 a.m. And then the race at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Sports Clips Haircuts VFW Help a Hero 200. Great. It's long. It's so long.
These names are getting little.
Like these names are long. I mean, so we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna watch that race. Should be a great race to watch as long as
I'm gonna try and watch it. I'll be working in North Georgia that day, and then I'll probably be watching the Cup race while I'm driving back on Sunday.
There you go. And the Cup race.
Yeah,
Goodyear 400. Easy.
Simple. Easy. Yeah, Goodyear 400. That one's easy. Yeah. Let's look at have you seen like all the schemes that have been released? They're on the Darlington website.
Yes, I have.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the Darlington website real quick so I can look at these and I know what I'm looking at. I've seen a few of them, and I really, really like a few of these schemes.
There's quite a few that are really great.
Where is? Okay, hold on. I got to go to Instagram because apparently it's in their Instagram tags, or it's in their bio.
Yeah, the Cup series is good. I think honestly the Xfinity series is better this year. Xfinity series has done a great job with some of these. I mean, you have multiple, and I actually did a video I'm going to be releasing today about.
There we go.
Games, yeah. So let me know when you're there. Start with Xfinity series first.
Okay. Where is?
Scroll.
Here we go. Xfinity series paint schemes. So, okay. Wow. Okay. Oh, I'm looking at a few of these now.
Do you know any of them off the top of your head? Because I just made a video on this actually with all these different ones, so I probably could might be able to name all of them.
So, let me look. So the 41 of Sam Mayer, is that a throwback to Kurt Busch's Daytona 500 winning?
Yep.
Okay. Brendan Jones, that's a throwback to
Brendan Jones. There's no Brendan Jones.
Hey, Mom.
What are you doing?
Filming a podcast.
Oh, sorry. Okay. When you get done, just email me that receipt, okay?
Okay, I love you.
Take a picture. I love you too. Bye.
Bye. Never a dull moment. Brendan Jones in the number 20. I think that is a throwback to.
Where are you seeing Brendan Jones in the 20? Oh, I didn't expand it. That's why I was confused. Yes, that is correct. Matt Kenseth.
Matt Kenseth. Christopher Bell in the 19. I know that is a throwback to his or one of his mentors' early sprint cars. I loved that. That one's probably my favorite just because of the story behind it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The William Swalich, number 18, throwing it back to Kyle Busch's NOS Energy paint scheme. Daniel Dye in the 10. That scheme looks so familiar, but I can't put my finger on it.
Adam Petty.
Yes!
Adam Petty.
I was thinking, I'm like, it's not Lee Petty.
So, yeah.
And then we have, I think, Carson Kvapil. Is that a throwback to one of... No, wait. It's either a throwback to Martin Truex or Jamie McMurray.
Jamie McMurray.
And then I'm not sure, but I love the look for Parker Retzlaff. I'm not sure who it is, but I just love the look of it.
Ernie Irvan, 1990s Kodak car.
So I'm going to go ahead and say this. My favorite, I kind of have two favorites. My first favorite is Christopher Bell's just because of the story behind it.
Yep.
My favorite just on the scheme itself has to be William Swalich's.
Makes sense. No, it's a cool scheme. For sure. My favorite is Brennan Poole's Jeff Gordon throwback to the Looney Tunes car. That's phenomenal. Also, the Silver Bullet 42 Anthony Alfredo, which is
Brennan Poole. Hold on, let me find Brennan Poole real quick.
Throwing back, so Brennan Poole, the number 44, and then Anthony Alfredo, the 42, throwing it back to the Silver Bullet Sterling Marlin's Coors Light car with Jamie McMurray's number.
I didn't even see. Yeah, I don't know how I didn't know that. But,
there's a ton. There's a ton.
Jeremy Clements throwing it back to the Sokol.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. Not sure what Sanchez is going.
Nick Sanchez is throwing it back to Unser IndyCar.
Oh wow! Okay,
and then
you were a big fan of the Leland Honeyman Jr. number 70 car.
The Nesquik car, absolutely, absolutely. Connor Zilic or Matt DiBenedetto throwing it back to Jeff Burton. You have Ryan Ellis throwing it back to himself. Mason Massey throwing it to the Noble Jimmy Spencer car. You have Dean Thompson. I can't believe you don't know Dean Thompson's. What is in the 26? The 26. Jamie McMurray. 26 Crown Royal.
No. Is it the same color? Like, here's the thing. Like, a few of these, they don't do it right. Because it's
the exact same car.
Okay, because like if you look at Ryan Blaney for the Cup Series, he's throwing it back to his dad's. The color scheme isn't correct, but I don't know. That's just me berating. But let's look at the Cup Series real quick because I think we're running pretty long on this episode.
Yeah, Cup Series. I mean, I love Josh Berry's. I love Tony the Tiger in the 5. I love Byron's. You got John Andretti, Eric Jones, 43.
I still can't believe that. I mean, Dale Sr. would be turning over in his grave if he knew Austin Cindric was.
Yes, he would. He would.
Yeah. I don't know how much the designers at Hendrick were smoking when they decided to come up with Chase Elliott's.
Chase Elliott's scheme is a dumpster fire. That is an active dumpster fire. I get it, but the design is not. It's not even close.
I like Denny Hamlin's.
Oh yeah, the Hamlin's is good with the sports clip throwing it back to cousin Carl. That makes a lot of sense. A lot of people are actually hating on Ryan Blaney's car, which whatever.
It looks cool, but the car that they're trying to the design is the exact same. However, the color scheme is not correct.
Right. And there's the one that really frustrates me. John Hunter Nemechek throwing it back to Joe with the Bell South car that his colors are not green. It's like red and blue.
You also have to kind of think about a few of these guys. They're not as it's a whole thing. Like a few of these sponsors aren't once again, probably my favorite just because of the story behind it, Christopher Bell in the 20. All right. And look, even DeWalt went on board with that, or someone like Menards, they didn't change their you have to get permission. Right. But then you get something really easy like William Byron, who's probably my favorite just off of the design.
Oh yeah, it's one of the most. It's identical. It's basically identical
because the sponsor was Exalta.
Yep. Same thing with Ty Dillon's number 10. So it's the Beaver Street. It's the Beaver Street Fisheries number 10. Throwing it back. Gosh, I can't remember her name at the top of my head, but the actual sponsor was Beaver Street Foods. So it's the very, very similar car there. I'm a big fan of all of them. I think there was another one I wanted to show you that was just so off. It's not even funny. Where is it? Hold on. Is it?
As soon as you show me that, we'll do our picks.
Yeah, let's do our picks then. I cannot remember. One of them is just the colors are just completely backwards. It just doesn't make any sense. I can't find it. I think it just got released today. Either way, I think it's a great throwback. It looks good so far. I'm stoked to see him on track. But yeah, let's go with our picks. Chad, since you went first last time, you want me to go first this time?
Yes.
Winning pick? Okay. I'm going to go with the driver who has had the fastest speed ranking in the last 6 races. I'm going to go with the driver who has had the speed ranking of no worse than 6 in the last 6 races. A driver who's finished first at this track before. Shown speed at Homestead. If he didn't have a little bit of an issue and make his way back up through the field, I think he could have had a chance to battle for the win with his other 2 teammates. I'm going to go William Byron. I think he's a great shot to win this weekend. It makes a ton of sense. He's been statistically the fastest driver on this track in the Gen 7 era. And I think that scheme, as I said, I'm going to release a video at 5 today. Jeff Gordon didn't get a win in the final ride scheme. I think it's time for William Byron to get that win. So I'm going to go with William Byron winning at Darlington. Who is your pick?
Honestly, I'm going to have to go Byron as well. I think
there we go. Double B for the win. Let's go.
I think he's
got get another one of those out of the shelf.
Yeah, I think he's got a good shot. Like he said, his statistics speaks for themselves at this track. I think he understands the track well, and if not,
who's your second pick?
Denny Hamlin.
Interesting. I like it though. I think it's a great pick. He's one of the best drivers there. I'm going to split. Actually, no. I'm going to go off a whim. Ready for this?
Probably not.
Chase Briscoe.
That's actually a good choice. That's a good choice.
He's a sleeper in my eyes. He's a little bit of a sleeper. And the odds, he's plus 1,500, which is about 6th or 7th overall. I think he has a chance to put that 19 car back in victory lanes. But
I'd love to
both going Willie B. Hey, that's a good week.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
All right.
So, well, that wraps up today's. Should be. I don't even need to put these in there. We already know who the pick's going to be. Willie B. Look at that. That wraps up today's episode number 36 of the Flag to Flag podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to follow us on all of our socials at Flag to Flag podcast everywhere. On Instagram, it is at Flag to Flag _podcast. We have reached the checkered flag. I still need to get a checkered flag to wave. I want to get a little checkered flag.
You've been saying that for over a year. Oh, God.
I had to do something. That's the only checkered flag thing that I have here. I don't have anything else. I don't have. I could wave Davey, but I feel like that'd be disrespectful.
Oh, I've got something.
Oh gosh. I don't know if I want to see what something is. Prepare your eyes.
All right.
Prepare your eyes. This is not good.
On this, but here we go.
Is there a flag on that?
Wazowski waving a checkered flag here. This was my gift from the 2024 Music City Quarter Midget Racing Association.
That is awesome. So
yeah, that's
our
what he sits
flag.
proud here.
All right.
And in my home in Tennessee. But yeah.
All righty. That is it from the Flag to Flag podcast. We will see you.
Wait.
Wait,
where do they find us on social media?
I already said it. A Flag to Flag podcast everywhere, except on Instagram. It's at Flag to Flag _podcast.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, and you could. Yeah, I've already said that.
I thought you didn't. My bad.
But if you haven't already, this is your chance to subscribe. Follow on all socials at Flag to Flag podcast, Flag to Flag podcast, and at Flag to Flag _podcast on Instagram, and subscribe on YouTube.